64 first came out. I think that's a pretty early game in the 64.
Yeah, it is.
I never knew what the fuck I was doing.
Alright, so we are on the air doing the live stream. And thank you anybody who is joining us tonight. Brandon's going to circulate some links online to show that we are doing the thing that we are doing. And we're going to record a podcast too. So we're actually going to do a podcast.
A podcast or two?
Yeah, we're going to try that. We're going to try and do two. Oh, it's the Z to A. Alright, so I'm going to be playing a variety of rare replay games while we do this. See what I get really inspired to play as we're doing this.
Rare replay. So, let's see. Jet Force Gemini?
You know, it's funny you say that. My icon is currently on Jet Force Gemini.
You're not playing Final Fantasy VIII Part 5.
I changed the title. It should not be that. God damn fucking technology. It should not be displaying that at all.
Let's refresh. Let me refresh.
Alright. Maybe that'll fix it.
What sounds like a squeaky wheel?
That is our new hamster.
Okay.
He's
Will not stop.
Yeah, they're nocturnal, so he's
Right.
he's exercising, getting ready to invade Mongolia.
So it is literally a wheel. that I'm
Yes,
hearing. Okay.
it is exactly what you think it is. All right, so are we ready to podcast?
Let's cast this pod.
Is it still showing Final Fantasy on there? Your phone's dumb. Because it can't be something else is stupid like YouTube. I blame YouTube. Alright, so we're going to get playing some games and we're going to record the podcast. Who's going to kick off the podcast? I guess I will, because nobody else is jumping in for it. Alright. Recording and going. Good evening and welcome to the Z-Trigger podcast. My name is William Hill.
I'm Brandon Harris.
It's a me, Mario.
Oh, how fitting, since most of our content this week is about Nintendo. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well.
That's
I
good.
got off work 10 minutes early today, which is like the opposite of the rest of the week. Well, no, the opposite would be getting off 10 minutes late. No, I got off like an hour and a half late most days this week, so
Oh, Jesus.
today's been good.
That's probably giving you some extra time to play some Wii U games, correct?
No.
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 All right.
I have
Well,
not played a video game this week.
oh man, how about you, Brandon?
I play some No Man's Sky.
All right then. So, No Man's Sky. Tell me about your experience with No Man's Sky, a game that I am the only one in the group who has not played.
Trent, you played No Man's Sky?
No.
I thought you played No Man's Sky. I thought you bought it with your PS4.
No.
Nope.
Huh.
Well, it's certainly a game. It's really pretty to look at. So far, every single damn planet I've been on has been very hostile. And I don't mean like the creatures, I mean the fucking planet. It's like they're all like, you can't breathe, or it's too hot, or...
Realism!
Yeah, whang! The entire time I was like, you're so technologically advanced, you can't stay on this planet for more than 5 minutes without dying. I have come to the point to just accept that I don't like survival games because I think they just go overboard to the point that I don't find it entertaining. You know, in this one, your fucking gun dies, your ship dies, your fucking suit dies. You have to constantly, you know, keep everything powered, and it gets a little annoying. And not only do you have to keep your gun powered. You also have to keep it from reheating, and you have to. I'm not sure I can. I'm not that big of Minecraft, and I can't really say I'm that big of a fan of this game either. I haven't.
You're not. You're among the majority in this case because most people hated that game. Hated No Man's Sky.
I mean, I don't hate it, but I can see why a lot of people think it's boring.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. The thing about with Minecraft is the world's only so big, but even in that, it doesn't tell you what to do, but you know what there is to do. You know, I know if I go over to this mountain, I can mine the mountain and build a home or whatever. With No Man's Sky, you don't really know what there is to do. At the beginning, it's like repair your ship. Okay, you do that. Then you go in space, and then what? Whatever. It don't matter.
Again, do the same thing again.
No, you don't have to. Unless you're dumb enough to get your ship destroyed. But you can just fly around. You can go to another planet and look at the planet and mine more stuff. At least you can actually sell your materials and stuff like that in this game. Unlike Minecraft, you know, once you hoard all that shit, it's just yours. There's just nothing to do with it unless you want to build something. There's not that much to build in No Man's Sky. It's, you know, at least with Minecraft, there's like layers upon layers of things to build and make and mix, and No Man's Sky, there really isn't.
It's as raw of a survival game as it gets.
Yeah, they didn't really put a whole lot of thought and effort other than you need to collect these things to make sure all your various functions still work or you die. Hate the menus. It might be a little bit better on I played on the PS4. I fucking hate the menus on the console. Menus are like, there's menus embedded within menus, and it's not like you can use you know how most games where it highlights a section, you can move it around and it highlights a square. And here is you got a pointer and you have to drag the pointer over here.
Oh Jesus, no.
Yeah,
no.
and so when you have the menu within the menu layout, it gets annoying. You get a little lost. It's not very. I don't find it to be very user friendly. I find the ship controls not to be the best in the world. Could because it's basically first-person shooter controls and an element that shouldn't be that way.
Maybe it should have just been a PC game.
Yeah, it might have benefited from that, but I just, you know, I approached a fleet. You know, of course they didn't attack me or anything. I landed. I was like, oh, cool. I landed inside a bigger ship, and I talked to an alien. I couldn't understand what he wanted or said, but I talked to an alien. There's supposed to be like a bunch of other features they've added. I don't know how you find this stuff. I don't exactly remember all that they've added. I think they added like bases or something. I don't know. But honestly, just from what I played, it still resembles the game that came out. Whatever reason it came out, it doesn't look really all that much changed. And
it's a shame because, you know, like I keep seeing articles pop up on the Game4G and whatnot that say that this is that it's a better game, that this is the game that they sort of promised, and
sort of, it has some of the features, but still isn't as grandiose as they were claiming it to be. Well, I mean, I still say the moment I saw like video and then slightly talking about what you do, I knew right then that I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like this game.
I mean, and the thing is, it's fine that they made a survival game, and I still find the concept that they initially presented to be very interesting, in that you can explore the galaxy and you can do all these things, but the thing that broke it for me personally, not so much the survival elements, but the fact that it became very samey fast. And from what I understand, that after you played a couple of worlds, you're just doing the same thing.
Yeah, you are. It's
on repeat.
It's all the same. I mean, hell, the resources that you find on planets really do not drastically change. You still find iron on pretty much every single fucking planet. You still find plutonium. These are the basic things that you need to make all your stuff function. But that makes it boring.
Right. And that's not fun. Like, if you're bored after 2 worlds in a game that touts that it has thousands of worlds, what is even the point?
My thing is, okay, when it comes to the survival thing, you are in a spacefaring race. You can go into space and you can warp in space. You have warp technology, but you can't make your fucking gun last more than 10 minutes. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, it's like they're fighting. It's like you're fighting the Borg, Brandon, and you have to change frequency every few shots. And that was the nerdiest joke I'll make tonight.
Yeah, survival stuff works, and to me only in certain situations. When for fuel for a ship, yeah, I can understand that. I don't know. I don't feel like survival works as well for science fiction that it does for more realistic, well, not realistic, but more present day approaches. Like, even though you can't really tell what time period it is, but was it Don't Be Afraid?
Oh, or
what's the name of that damn game?
Don't something.
It was where you're basically, your character is, you're in the woods, and it's a survival game, full-on survival. You have to craft, your home, your fire. You have to.
Don't Starve.
Yeah, Don't Starve. That's it. That to me works better for the survival element because it just fits. Where in science fiction, I think your stuff should be able to last a lot longer than just a few minutes.
Right, because the setting doesn't match the style of game that's making.
I realize that there's a joke among, especially Cowboy Bebop, where they're constantly out of fuel or they don't have any food.
Well, that's because they're poor.
But they also don't establish the length of time
that they go
between.
Yeah.
From being poor and not poor.
That, and I have this feeling that Wulongs are kind of like the yen, in that it takes a lot of yen to equal what we see as the U.S. dollar.
Probably.
So, when they say that they made 1 million Wulongs, they really made a couple $1,000s.
They made a fistful of yen?
Yeah, pretty much. So I think that's the case there.
Yeah, but, so I don't think, so where I was going to you can't really use that as an argument for why survival works in science fiction. I just don't truly believe it functions as well.
It especially doesn't in this case because something that is mechanical like that is made in a factory, like a machine is going to last a certain degree of time, not 10 minutes. And even if it does last only 10 minutes, once you get better versions of that weapon, it should not also...
Oh, you don't get better versions.
What?
You can make the beam stronger, but that's the other problem I have with this game, is that it's crafting. Minecraft gives you so many options, so many things to do. This game doesn't. You have just a few different materials you can create, but ultimately there's really not that many things that you can make. You can't make better weapons. You can make your weapon a little stronger. That's about it. There's no this is the first version of my mining laser. This is the second version, third version. This is my mining laser. This is my modification to make my mining laser just a little more stronger. but other than that, that's the gist of it.
Huh.
And you don't really get to create your own ships. You can buy other ships from alien races. It's like, hey, I like your ship. I'm gonna buy it. It controls just like my ship, but it looks different.
That's really not exciting.
No, and that goes against exactly what they say was going to happen. They were toting like hundreds and thousands of different ships, and they all control, uniquely, and that way too ambitious for what they really could pull off. So, but I only paid $20 for it. I'll at least get my $20 worth of entertainment out of it. Will I reach the center of the universe? Probably not. I'm just being honest. I probably won't play that much.
That's a shame.
I don't know what it takes to really get that far. But hell, I can't even play Minecraft. But I can't even play it that much, and I find there's more to doing that. So how am I ever going to convince myself to play this one long enough?
I don't know, man. Because it doesn't sound like a game that I could invest that kind of time in. And the fact is, there's a large part of me that would really like to try. I just can't be arsed to do so. Because I like games that have endings.
I mean, what's sad is, people tell us, like, some people who like the game, it's like, yeah, I like the repetitives. You know what? I can understand that concept. Because when I enjoy Minecraft, that's what I'm getting. But while it is repetitive, I'm seeing results of my repetitiveness. I am seeing something being changed in the world. I may not be able to do much with the resources that I'm getting from it, but I'm still seeing something change. You don't get anything out of being repetitive in No Man's Sky. Nothing physically changes. You can't, you can't do world modifications like you can in Minecraft.
Wow.
Interesting concept, just not very well pulled off. I'm waiting for Star Citizen to eventually, in the next 10 years, be done.
That's optimistic. 10 years.
Yeah, it probably is.
As much as Chris Roberts is planning to do with that game, you'd be lucky. So I've played some stuff this week. I've played quite a bit more Mass Effect, and I'm a long ways into that. Let's put this. So here's something funny that happened. So I've been side questing very heavily because that's supposedly the thing you do when you play these kinds of RPGs. And I'm only on Pharaohs, which were noted as the second, the third like story quest after you do the beginning of the game. And I'm not done there yet. I've still got to deal with the Thorian, the big alien thing that turns everybody into zombies. I still haven't dealt with that yet, and even having not done that, I got the achievement yesterday for completing the majority of the game. Based on my list, I've still got like 13 quests left to do, so that amuses me to no end. That I've gotten the completionist achievement already. Now, beyond that, I mean, I've still got to beat the game, but that's going to come in time.
How can you be the completionist if you haven't actually completed it yet? I don't think that word means what they think it means.
Right. I did find that very hilarious because, yeah, I haven't beaten the game yet. I've done a lot of side questing, but I haven't beaten the game by any means.
The little bit that I played of Mass Effect, I really, really liked. It's just, I got, busy with other stuff. I want to go back to it, but I'm like, but as with most games, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to start over from the beginning because, the difficulty curve
and it's got a pretty sharp one.
Yep.
Actually, let me rephrase that. So here's something I noticed, and this might give you a little more ambition to go through with it, Trent. So early in the game, I was having a lot of trouble with gunplay, and really struggling to beat the game, or to get through like quests and stuff because of the combat. I'm playing on normal difficulty for now, and as I continued playing, I just kept noticing as I pumped points into my weapons and stuff, and I, specifically classed my characters to play those weapons specifically. Oh shit, that hurt. I noticed as I continued the game that you don't have to aim as well later in the game. Like I was telling Brandon about this earlier, I used to have like pretty solid aim to hit things before, and then it would still take a bit of chugging along to kill something, especially if it has shields. But now I'm in a situation where I can kind of shoot in the vicinity of an alien, and it kills them, which is good and bad. It's allowed me to get through quests a lot faster.
I wonder if there is a game that actually, notices how you're playing, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna adjust the difficulty on my own.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there's a few of those now.
Okay.
What's the one that was really popular?
I don't know.
It was a horror game.
Oh yeah. Jesus, I don't remember.
Was it Until Dawn or?
Oh no, Until Dawn's not hard. Until Dawn almost plays itself.
A lot of games do these days.
And don't get me wrong, if you like cheesy teen horror movies from the 90s, totally play Until Dawn.
Yeah, isn't that the one with it's basically the slasher film thing, and you make the choices for the characters?
That's the one.
Okay, yeah, I've been wanting to play that.
It's good. Joe and I did it in a day that we both had off last year, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's goofy and wonderful, and so full of hilariously bad cliches. I loved it. Of course, I have a fondness for that style of game as well. So, or that type of film.
It's basically an RPG if you think about it.
Oh no, it's not.
No. I mean, like if you're taking the words literally.
Oh, true. No, but if it's about the most bare bones game that you can get. The entire game aspect of it is largely centered around the collection of endings. But no, it's fun. It's really goofy and just a lot of fun.
And it's cheap.
Yeah, we paid $15, I think, for our copy.
Yeah, I've seen it for like less than $10 used.
Wow.
PS4. So.
Where do you buy games in this town of yours? Because you always find better prices than I do.
Yeah, mainly GameStop, actually.
Damn, I didn't realize it had gone down that far in price at GameStop.
What's up?
Until Dawn.
I think it is fairly cheap now.
Yeah, I mean, you can find it new for like 15 to 20. So
Wow.
I bought 10 games this week, so.
Yeah, I saw your mega list whenever you get your Wii U.
Yeah, I so far I bought Epic Mickey for the Wii, which I still have to get a Wii controller to play that. I got Wind Waker HD. I watched my sister play about an hour of that.
Wind Waker is really cool.
I got Dragon Quest Heroes. Just so I can hack and slash and stuff, Epic Mickey Power of Illusion on 3DS. Twilight Princess HD.
That's one I don't have yet. I have the original, so.
Yeah, I've never played the original because I never had a Wii. So
Give it to us on the Switch.
Yeah, speaking of the Switch, every single GameStop around here actually has them.
Yeah, they got a shipment. They got a shipment at my stores this week as well. I don't know if they still have them or not. I didn't look whenever I was down that way today.
I convinced myself not to buy one. I'm like, nope. I'm waiting till the end of the year. It's got to have more than one game I want to play.
Oh shit, there's tons of good games on it. As a matter of fact, I got to play I did play the demo of Octopath Traveler this week.
Oh.
And yeah, all my hype for that game is so far totally well placed. It's got a beautiful visual style. The writing seems, well, it's early. It's a demo. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt because there's a few spots where the writing's a little bit.
That doesn't bode well.
It's a demo. They're trying to use it to see how people like the game. And it's like townspeople dialogue that it was kind of irksome. Some of the dialogue's really good, and then some of it's like, oh, they need to edit that. The gameplay's really cool in it too, so... Oh my, that hurt. Sorry, I'm playing Jet Force Gemini right now and not doing very well at it. So... I'm really looking forward to that game. It's a lot of fun. Like, I was able to kind of get a grasp of the strategy of how you deal with encounters as well, and that was genuinely impressive. Because at this stage, I've only been able to play as with like one character at a time. I've never seen a point in it yet where you have party members. The game sort of reminds me of Saga Frontier, back when I played it, just in terms of its scale, in that you pick from a large group of starter characters and you play their individual stories as you go forward. But I will say that it's not as hard as Saga Frontier.
Yeah, those games weren't easy.
Saga Frontier broke my brain. I don't know how the hell anybody's ever beaten it. Of course, I haven't got a copy of it anymore to try, because I borrowed yours back in the day.
I have the first and second one.
Do you have Unlimited Saga?
I do.
How about Romancing Saga for PS2?
How about Saga Does Dallas?
I don't know if I have that one. I do remember buying Unlimited Saga. It was not the same as what they did before.
No, most people hate Unlimited Saga.
It was a shift. It was more of a dungeon crawler, right?
I don't know. I never played it. I just remember.
I do remember being a shift in the genre, and I was a little disappointed that it was the same, because I was like, "Ooh, there's more of them." It's like, oh, never mind.
But it's not good. If you're like anybody else who played it. So I played that this week, as well as Mass Effect, and I've gotten quite a bit closer to finishing it. I figure I probably got maybe 10 hours of game left in that. But
Are you going through the game on your own, or are you using a walkthrough?
I've only used a walkthrough to dictate what side quests there are, just so I make sure I hit them all.
Okay.
That's about all I'm using it for. I mean, you don't really have to use it for anything but that.
And you know, well, there's not really that much branching in it, even though you would think there would be with all the
dialogue choices. Well, I mean, the dialogue choices all just dictate whether or not you're an asshole or not.
Yeah.
And I do not play as a renegade, so I'm playing a Paragon run. And I'm pretty close to being done as far as like all the side quests and stuff. It's something I do want to get back to very soon. Like, I wish I was playing it right now, but I'm playing this instead because Mass Effect's a game I need to focus on story. So
yeah.
On top of that, though, I went out today and I bought the special edition release of Metroid: Samus Returns for the 3DS, which is a remake of Metroid 2 for the Game Boy. I was about to say Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color, but like, no,
regular Game Boy.
Plain ass green and black Game Boy.
Which it now explains why they definitely made those people discontinue with their version of Samus.
Yeah, and I'm less upset with their decision after playing this. So I've played a pretty decent amount of the original game. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this thing and what they've done to update it other than the graphics. Because the graphics, you know, just looking at a trailer, you know the graphics are pretty good. So, first off, you have a much more fluid set of, like, platforming moves for Samus. And, this includes, like, from Metroid Fusion, where you could grab a ledge and then roll into a ball and continue down a little tunnel and things like that. So there's a lot of little stuff like that that makes it easier to navigate the world. They've changed the map in somewhat, like, okay, so the map is very similar to the original map, but at the same time, they've updated a few things. Like, in the original game, as you kill the Metroids, the entire goal of the game is to kill 40 Metroid creatures, and whenever you do that, you win, and you have to escape. Well, you don't have to escape because there's no timer, but you have to get away and leave the planet. So, with this one, it does things a little bit differently. Like, of course, you know, unlike the original, you didn't have a map in the original. This one has a map and a way to search the area using some abilities that unlock, well, not unlock, but reveal a bit of the map as you're playing. And that makes navigating the planet a little bit easier, because navigating the original SR-388 was an utter nightmare. Because of the lack of map support, and because of the lack of a map, period, and it's just a tough game to play. Because it's in black and white and everything is samey looking. So you have the thing that helps you search the map, and also you had to kill a certain number of Metroid in the original game in order to proceed through the map itself. Now they've replaced that with in the rooms where the flooding of the lower levels is indicated. They'll have like a room in each section of the map that shows you. Well, I'm doing terribly in this game. That shows you how many Metroid you have to kill in that area in order to proceed, which is super convenient for making it further in the game. As of right now, I've finished Area 1 in terms of killing Metroid, and I still have to go back and unlock the next zone, but I'm not ready to do that yet. Because what I want to do is find more missile upgrades and things like that. I've got 2 energy tanks and over 50 missiles already. What's really weird is you start with 25 missiles in this game. And I don't remember if you had that many to start with in the original game. I don't think so. But I'm not well versed enough on the original version of Metroid 2, so.
Well, you know, when they remake these things for the 3DS, it seems like all the games they remake, they try to make them easier.
They did not. They didn't make this one easier.
Well, if they're giving you more missiles,
that does not make it easier. So one of the other things they did is they've greatly increased the amount of fluidity you can have to your combat and the amount of control. Mm-hmm. So, for example, you can now you can hold down the L button to kind of lock yourself in place, like crouch down, lock yourself in place, and aim in 360 degrees, so you can hit anything. However, this leaves you open to attack, pretty much. And they've also added this not dodge mechanic, like a melee mechanic. So, like, if something charges in at you, Samus will just punch the shit out of it, and that'll stun it, allowing you to get some extra shots. This is literally how you have to damage damage any of the enemies well enough to take the big ones out. So, like I said, to beat the game, you have to beat all 40 Metroid, and that's easier said than done.
I've only killed 4 so far. No, I've killed 5 so far. And all of the boss encounters, so well, they're not even like in the original game. They were pretty much pushovers. You just get underneath them and shoot up. This one, you kind of have to approach it with some tactical grace because otherwise, you will die, and it will humiliate you how much you die. So it's not an easier game, not by a long shot. Now, is it a more fluid game and it rewards you being good at it? Absolutely. It's gone a long way to make the process of playing it more of a challenge for people who've already played the game before and people who've already played Metroid games before, without doing dumb shit with the actual game itself. It's a more in-depth game, and frankly, they've done some absolutely brilliant work with expanding on something like Metroid in the way that they have, while not changing the actual core gameplay of Metroid itself. It's a very smart evolution of the games that people know and love from the Metroid series. And I do love some Metroid, so that's a good thing.
Hopefully it's better than the last Metroid game that was released, because I heard that one sucked.
Oh, Federation Force is not a fucking Metroid game. Although, frankly, neither was Other Rim, if you really think about it. Other Rim was pretty terrible as well. And I've played some of it now, and I was not impressed.
What's with the humming?
Oh, that is my computer's fan turning on. And being really loud.
Yeah, it's really loud.
Everything in my house is super loud. I'm about to go take my hamster's wheel down for the rest of the podcast.
Oh, come on. It sounds like a happy dolphin right now.
So, anybody who's out there and on the fence about buying a copy of Metroid, don't get that thing. It's pretty damn good if you like Metroid games. Now, I will say this also, because I may have hinted that you can find upgrades and stuff easier using the map scanner feature. That is not the case. That is not the case at all. In fact, it may reveal to you where an item might be, but it's sort of like what Metroid Fusion did, if it did that sort of thing, where it's like, oh, there's might be an item in this room. It doesn't tell you how to access it or anything, and sometimes that's still the challenge. Like, you'll see a missile upgrade through the wall, and you have to get to it through whatever means, and that's really the challenge that's in play. So, yeah. I also got the special edition, so it's got 2, additional things that you wouldn't get from the $40 copy of the game, which I only paid $40 anyway because my roommate has the Best Buy thing where you can get the 20% off you get it on Amazon, but Amazon didn't have this version of the game anymore, so...
Well, and their 20% stops the moment it comes out.
Oh, it does now?
Yeah, that's what we talked about last week.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, they can't help me anyway. Especially since they ran out of copies of the special edition. So, the soundtrack CD it comes with is got, over 20 tracks, which is pretty cool. And, they sound pretty good. The one weird choice is that they have the Brinstar Surface theme from Super Metroid, which, good piece of music. Not trying to say that. It's not, but it's very quiet. It's quiet in the game, and it's even quieter on the CD. Quiet.
Oh, tell me when you first arrive?
Yeah, well...
because the theme after it starts running, it's not quiet.
No, I'm talking about the one that's, really quiet, and I was like... That one?
I don't think that's quiet.
No, the mix of it's, super low.
Oh, then that's just their dumb fault.
No, it's even low in the game if you really think about it. It's not the loudest bit of theme music that's in the game. Every other major music cue in the game is, you can hear it. So, it's super quiet on the CD, and that's disappointing. And the other cool thing is that the cover art is reversible. and the reverse side is the cover art to the Game Boy game, rather than the 3DS game cover art. And a giant loser like me finds that really fun. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've had time to play this week. Other than this, I considered starting a game of Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, but I did not. I need to beat that game someday.
I think the first game that I'm going to play when I do get to play on my new system is going to be Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Ooh, good game. But I warn you.
Very hard, I hear.
It's not so much that it's hard, it's huge.
Oh yeah, I hear that too.
It is goddamn gargantuan.
But see, the only two other games I have for the Wii U are remakes of other system games.
Yeah.
Well, HD versions of other system games. So I'm like, well, actually that one sort of is too. But
oh no, that's not. That one's an all new game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
it's a spin-off.
Yeah, sort of.
Sort of. It's not a sequel or anything.
Yeah, the sequel's coming out on December 1st, which is one of the many things we will talk about shortly here when we get into the news stuff. Because most of our news is all about Nintendo this week. They kind of dominated the news.
We're going to leave Square sort of alone for a week.
Not much to talk about with them.
Yeah, we'll get back to them in time, but yeah.
I mean, I can bash if you want me to.
You probably will, just for the fuck of it, knowing you.
What have they given me lately?
They did give us that excellent demo for Octopath Traveler.
No, see, you haven't streamed. I didn't tell you to stream it, but you won't stream it, so...
Why won't you just goddamn download it and play it yourself?
Because it's easier just to watch you stream it.
Jesus.
He'd rather watch people play video games than play them himself.
Yes, I'm lazy. I got other things to do, so...
Like I don't?
No, you don't.
You know, my problem is I like watching people play video games, but I'm what you would call a backseat video game player.
Well, when it's a puzzle game, that's perfectly fine. Because at that time, I need someone to tell me what the hell I'm supposed to be doing.
Are you referring to the fact that you haven't continued playing Riven at all?
No.
Because you have not finished that run of Riven you said you were going to play.
It's still on my phone.
But you haven't been like, what the fuck am I doing here? Well, anyway, let's start with the sole non-Nintendo thing that is worth talking about, because there's one other
about its competitor.
Oh no, its former competitor, yeah.
Yeah.
There is a fan project currently in development where somebody is demaking Resident Evil 1 for the Sega Genesis. And it is using like an isometric viewpoint to rebuild the mansion from the ground up for the Genesis and make that classic game old again, I guess. Brandon, you are the Resident Evil fan here. What did you think of it when you checked it out?
Kind of makes me wish I actually had that back in the day. I've only looked at the one little graphic the site had, and I thought it looked pretty damn nice.
It does, doesn't it? It looks kind of amazing considering, what they're doing and the fact that they're, making it 20 years after the fact.
Hey, if they get it out, I'll definitely play it.
Hell, man, me too. I would actually get one of those like SD card things for the Genesis to do that, if I could. Because I love me some Resident Evil, and I love the Genesis as well. It's very interesting to me how much of a homebrew community the Genesis has, because this is not the first noteworthy Genesis project like this. Like, there's one studio that has made a few games, one of which was Pure Solar, which was kind of an homage to how much these guys loved the look and feel of Phantasy Star back in the day. Oh my lord, I'm getting fried. So yeah, that was going to be an interesting one to watch, and if it pops up in the news much more, we'll bring it back up in the podcast in the future, because it's pretty exciting that one has been a thing. I just realized that there is one other story that's not on the Nintendo list that I wanted to bring up. Just because as many people need to say how awful this is as possible and pretty much devalue this guy's god-awful work on YouTube. So I don't know if you heard about this one, Trent. I didn't share the news, but our favorite person to complain about being terrible on YouTube has once again struck with being a complete and total douchebag on YouTube, and that is PewDiePie.
Yes, I heard about this.
Oh, you did hear about this.
Well, it's kind of
Yes.
hard not to. I mean, he when he does something, he's popular enough that he will get exposure, in many different areas.
And trust us, you don't want us exposing ourselves.
No, actually, that's true. We don't want YouTube people exposing themselves because most of those people wouldn't be able to survive in a environment that is controlled and monitored and censored.
Oh my god. And that is kind of the thing we're worried about here. So if anybody who's watching this has not heard about the ignorant bullshit that this douchebag did, he was doing a live stream of the hit first-person shooter-y thing called PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, which, I'm sorry, I don't know what kind of game that is because it sounds like the absolute worst thing that I could ever play.
It's like Counter-Strike. It's like,
It's an online team shooter then.
Yeah.
So it's some shit I should never play.
I mean,
Probably.
Yeah.
That's not even saying that's a bad game. It's just not for me.
It's the game of the moment.
Well, anyway, he got into a heated moment during the live stream, and he dropped a piece of profanity that you shouldn't ever drop at all.
I'm not sure what he was upset about. Did you?
I did not watch it. I have not
There was
done anything
one
with
of the
it.
guys that I can't stand now played a video, and he showed the segment, and I'm like, what did he get mad about? He killed the guy. What's the problem? It's like, were you not supposed to kill the guy?
Wow, so he got mad. So he wasn't even angry about something, and he still...
Oh, whatever it was made him angry, but I don't know why.
Wow.
And clearly it shouldn't have been... It's not that important. I don't think I've ever gotten so angry to start throwing out racial slurs. I mean, no game has ever made me that mad.
No game has ever made you so angry that it turned you into a person that you were
Dude,
not.
I've gotten so angry that I've thrown games out the door.
Hello, Kingsfield.
But I've never gotten so angry that I start throwing out racial slurs. Ever.
And you see, neither have I. And I am legendarily pissy whenever it comes to games that I'm bad at. Like, I've called him a piece of shit. I've called him a fucktard. I've said mean, horrible things, really, about the video games I've played. But that's not okay. That is not cool. And here's the thing, like, the reason why it's not a good thing is because that asshole has 22 million fucking people following his shitty channel.
And I
yet,
still have no idea why.
No, I don't.
Well,
I
I
mean,
know why.
Well,
It
we know
doesn't make
why.
sense.
We know why, but we don't know why. Like, we
These
know...
people are stupid.
Yeah, we know that it's that...
We're basically, we're too old.
I even hate his friggin' name.
Yeah, so do I. And if you hear him say it, you'll hate it even more.
I've heard him say it, and it's terrible.
It's annoying. It actually irritates me to hear him talk.
Because he's, what, Swedish?
And no, it's
He's
just
Swedish.
I don't know.
I love Swedish things. I still hate PewDiePie.
Yeah,
Including meatballs.
Swedish meatballs, Swedish furniture, because I've got 3 shelves from IKEA. I love Swedish death metal. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Swedish power metal.
Swedish power metal, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's Hammerfall, right?
Yeah, that's one of them.
So yeah, I mean, Sweden's got some great stuff. PewDiePie is not among their prime exports.
Swiss Army knife? I mean, come on.
That's Switzerland, jackass. Jesus. Brandon, you need to learn geography.
ABBA, come on now.
Oh God, no.
Lay
no,
all your
no.
love on me.
Hey, they've turned
I
that
will
into a
beat you
power
to
metal
death with a
song like
coaster.
3 times.
I know. That's the only reason I know that song. Is the power metal version.
Covered by Avantasia and Halloween, at least.
Yep. The Avantasia version is the one I have. I do not have the CD that... I don't have the one that Halloween
Metal
did.
Jukebox.
Yeah, Metal Jukebox. So, this is the thing. It's bad that he did it on, just in a, general civility. But... he is the most prominent YouTuber out there, which is goddamn terrifying in itself. But that means that he is the most visible. He is the one that, whenever he fucks up, they're going to make an example of him. The adpocalypse, as it is so frequently referred to, is bad enough, and it's causing people who work YouTube as a living, make video content for a living, are already struggling to deal with that aspect of their work. And sorry, the controls were funky. So him doing this is ultimately going to affect everyone who uses YouTube as a source of income, because as he makes these mistakes, as he does this dumb shit, like making Holocaust jokes and sending people out in the streets to... What was it that he did that first time that lost him his Maker account?
That was the Holocaust Jew jokes.
Okay, yeah. But that was super public too, so I want to make sure I didn't have two different incidents mixed up before I finish the statement. And dropping racial slurs when he's in a moment of anger. Which, by the way, if you say it in a moment of anger, that means you're pretty much cool with saying it anyway. I'm sorry, I don't believe that, he's innocent, so great and perfect. Fuck that guy. I mean, it's bad enough that he was a shitty YouTuber and gets more visibility than people that I like who do well to get 30,000 hits per video. So, whenever he does these things, it's all the more reason for something for these advertisers to want to pull out of YouTube and not have money going to creators and the like. It's basically the FCC and all the issues that follow from the FCC are coming. They're going to come to YouTube as a result of this. As more things like this happen, we're going to see more of this coming on YouTube. An avenue where people, have had a lot of freedom to just kind of create the material that they want without fear of censorship. And don't get me wrong, there are some things on YouTube that do not need to exist, like the oceans of god-awful white supremacist garbage that is on there, because it's the internet, and frankly, that's a thing now, I guess. People being racist dickbags on YouTube is apparently also a thing. So it's already bad enough that stuff's out there, but whenever you start seeing censorship, you're going to eventually get to a point where AVGN can't put out a video because he says fuck too much. And that's not okay, or you can't do reviews of things like exploitation cinema without, completely cutting out all the footage because you can only black box so much.
Or saying the title.
Yes, exactly. Cinema Snob would be out of a fucking job.
Well, see, I just have to wonder, though, because you do have networks like HBO, and Lord knows Game of Thrones ain't no fucking saint.
No, it's not.
No, but
how do you apply that type of market to YouTube?
Well, that's the thing. How do you deal with something that is usually restricted to premium channels to YouTube? How do you handle that in what is essentially a free online service?
Put it only on YouTube Red.
Oh, that's actually kind of a dreadfully good point there, Trent.
That's what they'll do.
I don't know, because YouTube's coming out with their own TV network.
What? Really?
Dude, everybody is Okay.
Yeah, DC's getting their own too.
See, no, I don't mean like a streaming thing of like just like random shows. I mean like live TV. YouTube's doing it.
Yeah, because well, I mean, YouTube Red already had its own original
Amazon's
series
going to be doing
and
it
stuff.
soon.
Does that mean
DirecTV's
PewDiePie's
already
getting
doing
his
it.
own show?
He already had one. I doubt he'll get another one.
Who?
Well, yeah, Disney
PewDiePie?
cut him
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, he's already lost that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, YouTube Red produced content, but that's the thing. It's like, so they're going to restrict them to being YouTube Red, but are they going to fucking pay for their shit? I doubt it.
Are they going to pay for litigation whenever they say something foul about one of their
the thing
followers?
is that what you'll see is those things just won't get any ad revenue. They'll either have to find an alternative route, or I mean, I guess it just depends how far they go with it. Are they going to go to the point of saying, well, if this type of content ever shows up, you know, we're not going to allow you ad revenue, period? Or are they going to be like, I just don't want to see, is what the current market is it just going to get worse? Which is just one thing. That just means that some people just won't get any ad revenue. Or will they go the route of blackmailing YouTube into either you do this or you get nothing?
Which, I mean, when it's that really awkward fine line that you have to deal with whenever you're discussing censorship. Like, I don't want censorship to be an issue, but at the same time, you can't, like, it's that it's the thing of like you have the right to free speech, but you're kind of beholden to like good behavior, I guess.
And also free speech, that whole right is basically just from government intervention. That's not from company intervention.
Yeah, because essentially you do work for the people who watch your channel and pay into your Patreon and things like that. They can pull your support, they can pull your money, they can say fuck you anytime they want. I mean, if we audience who was paying into a Patreon, we'd have the same thing. Like we could, like somebody would say, oh well, I don't like you anymore because you talk shit about PewDiePie for 20 minutes on your podcast. Something tells me that his crowd wouldn't listen to us anyway.
No.
Because we're actually funny sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. It doesn't happen very much.
Unintentional.
But honestly, it's not just PewDiePie. Do you remember? Did you ever hear about the guys who basically got caught peddling a gambling site for?
Oh, of course I did. Yeah. And that's a whole different other basket of worms.
Do you know what happened? Nothing.
Yeah, they essentially got away with it because there's no laws in place to...
Well, I mean, there is now.
Well, yeah, there are now, but at the time, yeah, it was...
See, that's the thing, is as things keep happening, eventually it's just going to get worse and worse. And eventually, you know, DMCAs are going to be the least of your fucking problems.
Yep.
You're not going to have a fucking YouTube to have a DMCA to happen in the first place.
Yep.
And what's sad is there have been other places that have tried to offer services for these people, but none of them pan out. Like, how many times has Channel Awesome changed networks?
So many times.
And they always end up back on YouTube.
I mean, shit, Maker's not even a company anymore, is it? Isn't Maker also shut down now?
I'm trying to remember which one that was.
That was the most... basically, that's what Blip became.
Okay,
Like,
then yeah. I don't... Dang, I haven't been to Blip TV in so long. I don't know if it still exists anymore.
One of the earlier Z-Trigger incarnations was a Blip account.
Well, see, the problem with Blip is that I guess they got bought by somebody, or something happened.
I think they got bought by Disney because Disney owned Maker.
And then they changed to where only certain people could be on it.
Right.
And then that completely destroyed it.
Yeah, because they deleted my account because it wasn't getting updated, and I guess it didn't have enough views and all that stuff. Because back whenever I was doing my channel, I didn't really have an identity of my own, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And now I realize that my identity is just to talk about video games and do so. Yeah, pretty much. That's why I have a podcast. That's why we have the podcast now, and we're still working on that Riven video, by the way. It takes time to edit video, and I have no time because I keep spending my time playing Mass Effect. So, I was going somewhere with this, wasn't I? But yeah, I mean, I had that account back then. I'm a little shocked that it no longer exists to a certain degree. The Maker.
Yeah, it was shut down.
By Disney, right?
Yeah, it was shut down in 2015 by Disney Studios. So
basically,
they bought them just to shut them down.
It sounds like EA.
Oh, topical humor.
But yeah, so I mean, but that's what happens with a bunch of them. They just, besides Twitch TV, Twitch, they're like one of the only, and they aren't exactly the same thing. They're for streaming games.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure you can do other things, but it's not really built for that. So, I mean, YouTube, to be honest, is creating a little bit of a monopoly. I am sort of surprised they have not faced some issues with that with the government. I mean, I guess because the function is still so new that there's the internet. I mean,
well, you still have the issue of like nobody else is doing anything that can catch on though, because YouTube is synonymous with streaming.
Yeah, but it's because they keep buying out everybody.
They do. I don't actually hear anything about.
Well, I mean, there's the people who are surrounded and who actually provide function with them by, like Disney provides them with the way they do ad revenue. They bought Blip TV. Now Blip TV doesn't exist anymore.
Damn. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, to me, that does scream a little bit of a conflict. If Disney, their company is one of their companies handling your ad revenue, and they buy basically a rival company that does the same thing that you're doing, how does that not scream a problem?
I mean, that is the shit Microsoft was doing in the 90s.
Hell, I mean, at one point in time, thank God, I mean, someone else bought them, but YouTube was trying to buy out Twitch. But it ended up, Amazon got it. So
YouTube.
They are trying. They have tried. And now YouTube has their own little live streaming, which I think I like more than Twitch. I actually do not like Twitch's service. The fact that everything is only up there for a limited time, unless you pay them money.
Or you have enough followers.
Or you have enough followers. Pay me money or be popular that we make money off of you anyway, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm like, well, you're full of yourselves.
So yeah, we'll have to watch the story closely as well. Not this particular story, but the future of YouTube is just unholy in its
and honestly,
shakiness.
I really just don't worry about it too much because the people I like are on Patreon. They make plenty of money there, so I don't really have to care.
True,
because they can go ad free. In fact, one of them is ad free.
Yeah, Jim Sterling, who has $11,000 a month in Patreon.
That's ridiculous.
God, I would love it if I had $130,000.
He still isn't the most I've seen. Most I've seen was an artist, and she makes, the last time I looked, about $35,000 twice a month.
How much does Amanda Palmer make these days?
Amanda Palmer?
Yeah.
Amanda Palmer, she was in the Dresden Dolls, and now she's a solo artist, and also completely unrelated, she's married to Neil Gaiman, which I imagine does not hurt her visibility in the pop culture world. She's on Patreon. She's been on Patreon for years now after she kickstarted one of her more recent albums. And last I looked, she makes a fortune
Sure she does.
on Patreon.
38 per thing.
Per thing.
What the hell does that mean? How many things does she do?
I don't know. I am not a fan of her music, so I tried to be a fan.
Music?
Yeah, she's a musician.
I thought she was an artist.
No, she's a musician. I mean, she's
Like
sort
a
of
music
Neil
artist.
Gaiman is married to a music artist?
Yes. Why is that shocking? I mean, like, he toured with Tori Amos for a year.
Neil Gaiman?
Yes. He went on tour with Tori Amos, like, hung out with her. Not performed with her, but he just hung out with her for a whole year.
That is... What?
Yeah.
Why?
That's sort of... I think that was sort of the, like, the inspiration for one of the Death graphic novel, or Death stories.
Okay.
About Foxglove. Yeah. Because Foxglove was a musician.
That's... different.
You never read that story, have you? It's a good one. I can't remember the name of it. It's not The High Cost of Living, it's the other one. Oh, God, I can't remember it. It's irrelevant. So, yeah, but she's on there and makes a killing. Hell, she was one of the first, like, big Kickstarter music successes, too. So. Oh, but anyway.
It just shows you can do anything on...
Yeah, you can do it if you got a dream to do something. You could probably succeed doing it if you go through Kickstarter and have a good enough product, so to speak. And I hate to say that about art in any shape or form, but it ultimately gets turned into a product. So if you have a good enough product, you can make it on Kickstarter. Which is why if I ever get my board game finished, it's going to Kickstarter. And we'll try and make that happen. You heard it here first, folks. I'm working on a board game on top of all the other crap I do. It won't be as poorly handled as my ability to play Jet Force Gemini, of course. But it'll be a thing. I'm about to die. So anyway, let's move on from the fuck PewDiePie portion of the show. Brandon, where would you like to begin? We have an ocean of Nintendo-related news to talk about. You want to talk about the SNES Classic first? And the NES Classic? This look on your face says no.
I guess I can, but I'm like...
Do you still have your pre-order?
Yeah. I mean,
for the moment, he does.
I mean, honestly, it's like my thing is like they keep saying that there will be a lot of them in stores. Do not pay more than $80 for this thing, otherwise you're just screwing yourself.
And I mean, I will tell you that I think that they are mostly referring to scalpers in this case.
But it still makes me wonder. Will I actually be able to find this in stores? And I don't know. And like, do I want to risk it? I don't know.
You see,
I don't want to pay $160 damn for this thing.
And note that note for the audience online that you're not just paying $160 for the hardware. You're paying it for one of GameStop's silly ass bundles.
But let's just be honest. What it comes with is crap. I mean, some people may like the book, but still, the book's damn $45.
Which is astonishing, but I mean, it's the same price as any other Prima hardcover.
Which is ridiculous.
Oh, I had no doubt on that. That's why I don't buy them new.
Is
Or
it at
from
least
stores.
like a coffee table book? Big.
I think it is an oversized book.
It's a little bigger than a normal strategy guide, but because I have the one they did for the NES Classic, and it's an
okay, let me rephrase that. It is very interesting to me. I like the material that's contained within it. It could have been produced better, but I think that they've taken that into consideration whenever they've done the new one, because the first one didn't sell worth a shit because it reviewed so poorly, because it's got a lot of low resolution images in it, and the most glaring thing about it is that in the Legend of Zelda section, because it's got strategies for some of the games, and Zelda's one of them. It's got a part set up for the world map, and there's no map. So I'm hoping that the editorial process for the new one is thorough, because they botched the shit out of the previous one, and that's a shame, because it's the book itself is such a cool idea. Which is why, even if I never find an SNES Classic, I'm probably going to get my hands on the book, because the little history-ish type stuff that's included in it's pretty cool, and some of the walkthrough stuff's pretty interesting, because you can always learn something new about an old game. And I actually found several of my old video game magazines at my parents' house this past weekend, where because they moved a couple months ago, and they still got a bunch of my stuff from whenever I was, young and living with them at the house. And so they have old Nintendo Powers that I was looking at. It's like, man, even looking at the strategy guides for some of these old games was still so much cooler than looking at a modern day games walkthrough, because they just had more to look at, really. There's more to their. You had to do more with less back then, and it was a lot more interesting to look at in that way. So the book is a bit of a question thing. Well, anyway, this is kind of all skirting the news aspect of this. So Reggie Fils-Aimé has said that people should not pay scalper prices for the SNES Classic, which is a plus, because there would be a lot more hardware. That the initial shipment is more hardware than they released the entirety of the NES Classic. This news hit the day before Nintendo formally announced that the SNES Classic will be continued to be produced into 2018, where it originally was only going to last until the end of the year. And the other bit of news is that they are going to bring back the NES Classic in 2018, in the spring, which, they'd said that it was always going to be a limited time console, blah, 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 blah. Clearly, Nintendo realized that money is a thing that businesses thrive on, and that they need to make money. So
it's their new Crystal Pepsi.
I heard somebody else refer to it as Nintendo's McRib.
Well, see, the thing is, the McRib only comes back once a year. They're bringing this
Crystal
back
Pepsi comes back twice.
Yeah, they actually came back again recently.
Yeah, Crystal Pepsi's actually better than the McRib. So if you want to call it,
if
you want to call it Nintendo's Crystal Pepsi, frankly, I'll let you do that, because that's a lot better than calling it the McRib, because the McRib is disgusting. Ugh. I've never actually met a person who likes the McRib. So. Oh,
I know a lot of people.
I haven't met them, but I've seen one person be so happy when they do come around.
Man, that person is not a human being.
No, he's the cinema snob.
Oh my God, really?
Dude, have you not watched his video where he eats things?
Oh, I do, but I don't recall him specifically saying that he gets excited about the McRib.
Yes,
Jesus.
Yes, he does.
And if I was a Patreon supporter for him, I'd have to take $1 from him, because that's just not cool, man. Play this.
No.
Yes.
I don't want to play it. I've been watching you, and I don't know what the hell is going on.
I'm dying. That's what's going on. So
I've never played Jet Force Gemini, but I've always wanted to.
I got it for $2.99 at GameStop a long time ago, so I have a cartridge copy of this as well. And it was hard as hell, so I never really got further. This is the first I've ever gotten in it, sadly.
I mean, I keep looking at this, corner over here, and it's like, why is he holding a hairdryer? Because it looks like a goddamn hairdryer.
Because retro future sci-fi, that's why. So that's not the only news that happened this week. That's just the thing that has been quite questionable. I'm glad that they are at least trying to, publicly trying to address the lack of consoles. I really want an SNES Classic because I'm a moron, and I will be glad to see if I can buy one. So there's that. Also,
I'll get one if it's in stores. Otherwise, the Wii U Virtual Console has most of the games on it anyway.
That's true.
Yes, it is.
Does not have Star Fox 2 though.
Give it time. It might not
Yeah,
appear there,
yeah.
but it will appear somewhere.
Well,
I
I doubt
hope-
the Wii U will be getting it.
It's interesting. Like, we had another Nintendo Direct this week, and they still have not shown anything about the Virtual Console on the SNES, on the Switch. And
but
that's,
we are getting some classic games.
we are getting some arcade games,
Boo.
Mario Brothers and the like, and that's interesting.
I'm not buying them, but
I wouldn't pay money for them, I don't think, because I mean, who the fuck's gonna play those with me?
I mean, seriously, Mario Brothers, the arcade game, came packaged with every single Mario Advance game.
And I never even played it then, and I have a couple of those.
I played it once, that was enough. You need 2 people to play that.
Yes.
Just literally go into a room, kill everything, go into another room, kill everything.
I know
And the rooms looked very similar.
the
It's
real
like,
goal is
it's like Bubble Bobble.
the real goal is to save the little teddy bear looking aliens, but you have to find them. They're like hidden around the level.
I'd rather play Donkey Kong.
I'm surprised Donkey Kong isn't on that list because that is a classic arcade game.
Yeah. And it introduced Mario, so...
True.
I did see one on there that I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of cool," but I don't remember what it was now, and I'd have to look at the list and I'm playing
Ice
the game.
Climbers.
Not Ice Climbers. Goddamn, not Ice Climbers.
Dig Dug.
I like Dig Dug.
Spelunker.
What? You don't like Ice Climbers?
No, I do not like Ice
What you got
Climbers.
against Ice Climbers?
I just don't think it's that fun.
He doesn't like the cold.
I love the cold. I just don't like Ice Climbers. This list of news from the event is completely not including that bit of information.
I mean, well, I guess we can at least talk about the big piece, two big pieces of news.
Let's talk about one of the biggest the biggest shock for me. Bethesda seems to actually really dig the Switch.
Well, that's what I was basically talking about. The two big pieces of news that we're getting Wolfenstein 2 and Doom.
Which is unfucking believable. The last time Doom graced a Nintendo console was the Game Boy Advance. They did not get Doom 3. We did not get any other kind of port of Doom since then. It's been a while, man. So Doom is getting a remake, although depending on who you ask, it's ultimately tragic and a failure of the Nintendo hardware that it's not getting the Snap Map feature. Brandon, care to comment on the lack of Snap Map in the...
It don't fucking matter because no one gives a shit about the multiplayer, which is where the only time Snap Map makes a difference. Because you make multiplayer maps.
And what would you say is the most important aspect of Doom?
The single player. Even the article that I saw that talked about that, it's like, well, really, the single player is the only thing that really matters anyway.
See, I'm kind of gonna have to agree with you. I've only played the demo, the trial that was on the PS4 version, and I even know that that's why you would play Doom, is to play the really the impressive gore fest that game is.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so buying that damn thing again.
Damn.
It'll be my first console version. I didn't buy a PS4, so this will be my first console version.
You know what would be hilarious?
What's that?
Is if they went retro with this and did like they did when they first released Mortal Kombat on a Nintendo system.
And give it
no
like
blood.
green, or give it like green blood or something.
That would be
Sweat.
really weird.
God, if it was sweat, that would be extra weird. Trent is not joking, because that's what Mortal Kombat 1 had was sweat.
Shit,
Fucking sweat. So, I mean, I'm not worried about that. I am very impressed that Wolfenstein 2 is coming to it. That completely came out of the
Well, I guess my whole thing is that Bethesda's not known for upgrading their engines.
That's true.
So more than likely is running off the original Wolfenstein engine they did for the most recent one. So it probably can run just fine.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And that's a lovely looking game. So tell me this, though. Is it just me, or does it kind of suck that it's not coming until next year? Because the regular Wolfenstein 2 is not coming out. Is actually coming out in, like a couple months from now. But we're not getting the other one until next year.
I guess they didn't decide until later on that they wanted to do it.
Yeah, like they wanted to see that they'd be able to get a return on their investment. I don't know. They did not give a full... they didn't give full details about it, so...
I mean, basically, what that means is I just might pick up the PC version, and when for console, just wait for the Switch.
You are very serious about supporting your Switch. It makes me very happy to hear that.
Well, I like the idea of having handheld. I mean, I like having my console games handheld. I mean, I can do that with my Vita, but I don't like the button layouts that they force that, because it doesn't have the two damn R2 and L2 buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to use those back things, and that doesn't work all that well.
No, it does not. It's
so
actually terrible sometimes.
Yeah, so while I can do it with the PS4, it doesn't work as well. So, yeah, I'm happy to have my Switch and have the games for it when I can get them. That's not a fucking pistol, it's a damn hairdryer. Hell, I will buy Skyrim when it comes out. I'm definitely going to buy Doom, and I will buy Wolfenstein. Even if I do, for some reason, buy the PS4 version of Wolfenstein 2, I will probably go out and buy the Switch version anyway. Will I buy Mario Odyssey? Probably not.
Really?
My copy's over halfway paid for.
Honestly, I'm kind of burnt out on the 3D, gigantic 3D Mario game, not RPGs, but those styles of Mario games. I've enjoyed what I played of the, new Super Mario Brothers World 2, the side-scrolling ones.
Yeah.
I still thoroughly enjoy those, even though I suck at them. But the gigantic 3D ones, I got enough of that with, Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine. I just sort of am done with the collectathon.
I don't know that this one's a collectathon, though.
There will be a collectathon.
Oh, I'm sure there will be, because, even the 2D ones have it, but I don't know if it's going to be as much of a core aspect of the gameplay as it was in those. But I could be wrong, because I know you do have to collect something. I don't remember what it was, but you do have to collect something. The thing is, they got better after Sunshine.
I mean, they may have, but I just...
They actually got fun after Sunshine. I didn't like Sunshine, and I am in the utter minority when I say that I thought that Mario 64 was not that good. I can't compare it to Mario 3. Mario Galaxy, I could put in not as good as Mario 3, but at least you're getting closer to the right direction with interesting platforming challenges and things like that. It's but then what's sad to me is, this is where I'm gonna kind of agree with you, is that genuinely my favorite Mario game, my favorite 3D Mario game, is actually Mario 3D World, because it kind of combines the styles. It has 3D settings and you're exploring 3D spaces, but it has the level structure of a traditional Mario game, where you're going through a world level by level rather than one open environment, collecting coins this time and doing an objective this time and fighting a boss this time, that sort of thing. Which is, to me, less exciting than which is more exciting to me than playing... Well, bleh. It's less exciting to me to do the collection thing and do 6 objectives in one world a bunch of times than playing levels, because the levels are going to have more interesting secrets kind of tucked away in them. They're structured for that kind of gameplay in a way that's more appealing to me, because that's the Mario games I grew up with. Mm-hmm. And to see that go away again is sad, but at the same time, because I liked Galaxy so much, I'm more willing to give this one a shot. I was worried about buying Galaxy when I finally did. But then I bought Galaxy, and I liked it, and I enjoyed it enough that I will give this one a shot. Because Galaxy was stellar. It was actually a little bit more in that vein of having individual levels within those larger settings. So it was more something that I wanted than what we ultimately got with Sunshine or something like that. So my copy's about $30 away from paid for, though.
So half off.
Yeah, I'll get there, and it's gonna be great. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it.
I guess also of the three of us, I am most definitely not a platformer.
Fair enough.
I mean, every now and then, like Crash, hell yeah. But for the most part, no.
You're the more grown-up gamer. I'll stick with my Jack and Daxter and Gex and Mario. Spyro.
I'll just play just
early
about
Spyro.
anything.
Nothing past Spyro. Just early Spyro.
I'm just of the mindset that I'll play anything if it's good. And I do still enjoy the old Mario games quite a bit. So nothing wrong with falling out with that. Nothing at all.
What is that person doing?
I don't know. I don't remember this room.
I do. It's
Oh,
training.
okay. It's the training area.
But I don't remember that person being there.
Me either. So, another big one would be Xenoblade Chronicles 2. A lot of people thought that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was going to be delayed into 2018 because this game was only announced back in January.
We were wrong.
No, we were super wrong. It's coming December 1st.
Yep. You know what I just did while we've been doing this?
You pre-ordered it, didn't you?
Yep.
How much did you have to put down? Oh, you did it probably through like Amazon, didn't you?
No, I did it through GameStop.
How much?
You have to put down the whole thing.
Oh, you did?
See, that's my problem with the GameStop. Like, with any online thing, they don't allow you to do what you do in stores. I don't understand why. Why can't, I mean, I guess I can sort of understand. I mean, how do you regulate that? And, I mean, I guess you can just charge a person's payment source for the rest of the amount when the game releases. They do that anyway. They don't take the money ahead of time.
Right.
So I don't really know why I can't pay it over time. If they did, I'd actually probably buy more games.
See, I mean, I can still go to in-store and do it, so.
Not that it matters, you know, they still try to fork money out of me.
True.
So, hey, you want another release date? $20. Fuck you. I'll pay my $7, even though I shouldn't have to pay the $7. I just paid you $100. So yeah, $112 shipping, taxes, game.
Jeez. And this is you did the special edition too.
Yeah,
so.
and I, you know, the good thing doing this early is I can cancel and change, and I'm sort of debating that because whenever I look at what the collector's edition offers, which is a gigantic art book, soundtrack, game, and a steelbook, and I'm like, is that worth $100 to me?
Depends on how much you like the art book.
Well, I can't know that until I actually get the art book.
You see, I mean, I like art books. So.
I do too. But, I mean, hell, I have the 3 Sky books from Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what those are? Hardback. It's just paperback.
Are you serious? Yeah, that was hardback.
It's not the picture I saw. But then again, I'm having a little bit of trouble finding like a good photo.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But it doesn't look hardback to me. If it's hardback, then yeah, okay, that makes it a little better.
Right.
Because it is a 200-page art book.
You know, the thing that makes me worried as far as that is how many tracks are on that selected tracks thing.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I don't know the music from the game series in the first place. I don't even know who's composing. I mean, I could research, but I don't know who it is, so it's not like I'm going to be jumping up and down for joy. I mean, it's not like it's one of my favorite composers. You know, it's not Masuda or anything. Did he work on the first one?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's touched anything Xeno titled since the very first Xeno saga.
You can't really tell that he did.
I don't know, the first Xeno saga had a pretty good score. The second one had a toilet score.
That was a toilet game.
It was a toilet game. It was fucking wretched. Except for that one moment at the very end.
It says hardbound art book.
Oh, it is hardbound?
It says hardbound, yeah.
That's not bad then. Steelbook, hardbound book, and soundtrack.
And I guess it'll come with a decent sized box.
Yeah. I will just be honest with you. I'm kind of shocked that it's even getting a nice collector's edition and a special Switch Pro controller.
That I actually did think about too, but there's still that, nauseating price.
Oh God, $75 fucking too. It's $5 more because it's got special artwork on it.
Yeah, and I have a hard time stomaching paying the normal price for the fucking controllers. And would I like one? Yes, but I cannot justify spending that much money on a controller.
Dude, I have one and I can't believe I have it. The only reason I have it is because Joe bought it. Like, that's literally, I wouldn't have one if it had been me investing in the system, because I would have been like, that thing's $70, I can't do that. I am shooting terribly. So, it's interesting to see how Nintendo's changed their position on this series, because 6 years ago, we had the first game of the series.
Beg for it.
Yeah, we had to beg for Xenoblade Chronicles 1 here in the States, and now we're getting collector's editions and all this stuff. And
I guess the other ones have actually done well then?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that and also, I'm sure that another part of it boils down to, holy fuck, we have to sell the Switch. And we have to have games to sell the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, get as many different groups of people as you can.
Right.
But like I said, I still have this issue of I didn't play the other ones. I need to play the other ones.
You'd have to buy the first two.
Which, I mean, it's not like they're impossible to get. They're not expensive, that expensive anymore either.
The first one's still a little silly
if
priced.
nothing else, I can just buy the 3DS remake.
Do you have a new 3DS?
I can get one for $150.
That's a new 2DS. I actually talked to a guy at GameStop last weekend. He told me that the build quality on the new 2DSs is not that good, or at least the initial run. Like, he's had a bunch get returned for, they break.
How many of these are owned by adults?
That's a very good question, and I did not get an answer for that.
It's kind of like, I don't know, after watching that video, I'm not sure what's really to blame for all the Xbox Red Rings of Death. And I always blame for people being fucking stupid and putting it inside an enclosed space.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so if you treat your console poorly, yeah, sure, it's probably going to break early.
This is very true.
But
Gotta
I don't know if it's kids or if it's actual adults too. I'm sure there's some adults mixed in there probably, but
Yeah, probably.
I'm very careful with my stuff. I've seen how a lot of people are with their handhelds, and they are not very friendly.
No. I mean, I treat my stuff like it's gold. So.
But yeah, I mean, I've thought many times about buying the new one just because it's so damn cheap. I'll have access to the Super Nintendo games and I have access to the one game that actually uses the console.
Oh, it's gonna be 2 soon. I think it might even be 3 now. I know that Fire
What was
Emblem
even
Warriors.
the point?
I could not tell you, man.
I mean, biggest waste. I mean, you just pulled a Sony with that shit. You released a piece of hardware and then you just dropped it like a rock. I mean, come
Oh,
on.
they haven't dropped it like a rock. They've replaced all their other models with it and expected you to give a shit.
And then didn't do anything with it. It's like, we got all this expanded memory. Okay. Now what? Nothing.
Well, you know what's really funny about that is that Fire Emblem Warriors is getting a 3DS version. And you know what it doesn't have? 3D. It's a Nintendo title, and it doesn't have 3D even. But,
I mean, I you know, in the beginning I was like, hey, this is cool. Off.
when I was playing Metroid earlier today, I used it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I do it for a few minutes with every
See, that's
new
the
game I
thing.
get.
Is you will do it for a few minutes. Off.
Well, I mean, it just sucks up so much goddamn battery.
It sucks up too much power, and it's fucking frustrating that you have to get to hold this damn thing just right so I can get the 3D effect. Otherwise, you don't get.
It
the
kind of
3D
hurts
effect.
your eyes after a while.
Yeah,
too.
that too. So it's a interesting concept, and I like what they did. But in the end, it could still use some refinement, or maybe change to a different way of doing it. Because the whole mirror thing is sort of relying upon, you know,
Angle. Yeah. Your mileage may vary with
Yeah.
your 3D experience. I don't know. Still a cool idea, but yeah, it's a bit of a wonk. But you know,
God, man.
so what
she
you?
is a mass murderer. I mean, Jesus.
Brandon's referring to the fact that I'm now playing Perfect Dark on our live stream.
Yes, not Zero, not that piece of crap.
I joked about it though.
I don't know if I can go
Is
back.
that actually on Rare Replay, the Perfect Dark Zero?
Yes.
Why? Just because it could?
Yes.
Do they still have like the severe slowdown from using the shotgun?
I don't know. I haven't played it because fuck that game.
I remember when
its
it took Brad and us a couple of years to get through that game. We would
Well,
play a stage or two, then we stop for a while,
Yeah.
and then eventually go back. But we would use the shotguns because they cleaned the house. But anytime you used the shotgun, the game would go to
Choke.
a crawl. It was ridiculous.
We should note that it didn't take us years to play it because it was hard. It took us years to play because we didn't want to fucking play it.
Oh yeah,
It was buggy.
Yeah, it was a piece of shit.
Yeah,
Just
we
be
didn't-
nice. Be
we
honest.
didn't
It's a
want to
piece
play
of
it. I
shit.
mean, there was a damn death match in the game.
Yeah, literally, like, we're going to play something called Deathmatch.
So you just go around and just killing this character like you would in a deathmatch game multiplayer. I was like, this is stupid.
It was so fucking dumb. I can't believe we did finish it. You know, it's funny. We should do that on the stream at some point, just
Why?
for shits and giggles.
Why am I still saying scientists in this damn? What is it with repair and saving scientists?
No, you're not saving scientists. You're not killing them. There's a difference. So, Brandon, speaking of the 2DS, they have 2 new models.
Again?
Yeah, they've got 2 more models. Well, no, not like models, but like 2 like designs. One of which I know you would not buy, which is the Pokemon.
Oh, then there's the Samus one, right?
Oh no, that's a new 3DS. That one is. So tell me this: would you be interested in the orange and white one or the blue and black one that it launched as?
Okay.
Of the 2DS, of the new 2DS line.
I'm guessing the blue and black one's the normal one that you see in stores,
Yeah, the orange and white one comes out in October.
and that's Pokemon.
No, they're also doing a Pokemon.
Oh. No, I would want the blue and black.
I don't know, I kind of like the creamsicle.
I mean,
that
I
they're
haven't
doing.
seen this other one, so I'm just judging based on what the colors are in my head, but I just prefer blue and black.
I won't lie, I like it. It's very. It looks like a creamsicle. And I like creamsicles.
The door is locked.
I know the door's locked. So that was one of the other bits of news they had. Some of the stuff they did, I'm like completely nonplussed by, like a collection of the top 100 games from Mario Party in a standalone Mario Party game.
It says like, didn't they say it was a new Mario Party game?
It is technically a new Mario Party game, but it's also just a collection of the top 100 Mario Party mini games.
Oh.
Yes.
In the disguise of a new game.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's called 100 Best something something something. It's called something more clever than that, I promise you. It's just what I remember.
I thought, but I've never been exactly a huge Mario Party fan. I thought it was a cool novelty and just some fun for 10-15 minutes. But
yeah, you know, I don't hate Mario Party by any means, but
that you know.
I don't have any mean. I don't
Why
have any.
is your first motion to roll? You're not even firing at the person. Why not just pull up your gun and shoot? Stupid ass AI.
Hey man, this AI was top of the line in 2000. After this game had been in development for like 3 fucking years.
Were you trying to kill yourself?
No, I was waiting on the little robot. So what else have we got from the event besides nothing about the Pokemon game? Actually, one of my biggest disappointments was I would love to see a follow-up from Platinum regarding the tease about Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta 1 and 2 getting ported.
It might be a little bit.
Oh, probably is a nice way to
You
put
best
it.
believe even though I already own Bayonetta 1 and 2 in 2 different formats. I own Bayonetta 1 in 2 different formats, and the second game in 1, I will buy them again for the Switch so I can wear headphones while I play, so I won't be that embarrassed. I swear, man, I have a hard time playing them games sometimes just because I just shake my. I end up start shaking my head just watching just the things you will see on the screen, and I both feel embarrassed and love it for that fact that it's just does not care.
You're right, it does not. And I keep looking at that game in stores, and I wish I could buy it. But Skyrim does have a release date of November 17th. We got.
Where's my collector's edition of that?
They're too busy charging you $60 for a game that came out 7 years ago. Still,
You see, yeah, that is probably like the one problem I have with it. I'm like, dude, the game is how old?
7 years, or no, 6 years, or 6 or 7 years.
I cannot believe that the game is 6 years old and we're still seeing new versions.
I think that you can say that about at least the Switch one's at least a portable one. And
yeah,
then
that's probably like the only like new version that I can understand because it's a completely new way of actually playing it. It's not something that previously had it in the first place.
I mean, I'll give a little bit of a pass to the HD version that came out last year. A little bit of a pass, not really, but
Why?
because at least they changed something.
What?
They gave it better graphics
No, they didn't.
from
They
the
had-
console versions. Yes,
The consoles just got stronger. They didn't really. They didn't do anything.
Okay, well, either way, I mean, like that's a little bit acceptable.
It's still
The thing
they
that's-
brought out a game that's 6 years old and made it $60 again. Not on just the Switch, but every console.
The thing that hurts my brain, though, Brandon, is the fact that they want people to pay $60 for a VR version after they've already bought the
Yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
HD
I remember
update.
that. I'm like, fuck you.
yeah, that one's jarring to me. There's a bit they're releasing Minecraft. They released Minecraft on 3DS, which is literally the least interesting thing I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, that's That's just it's only a matter of time before it appeals on the Switch.
Yeah, oh, it's already on the Switch, I think.
Is it?
It might be. I don't remember.
I don't think I've not seen it in stores, and that I know would be in stores.
Unless it got a digital release.
Yeah, I guess.
I think with Octopath Traveler, that's all the biggest news from Nintendo Direct.
Yeah,
Okay.
sadly, no Dragon Quest 11.
You know what else we didn't get? No Seiken Densetsu collection update.
You're not getting that.
I want that damn thing.
You may want it. You ain't getting it.
I'm gonna be bitching until the Switch dies about that damn thing.
Unless Europe gets it, you ain't getting shit.
Yeah, I know we're not gonna get it, but I'm gonna
I do
bitch
find
about
it funny
it.
that when Europe gets stuff that's in English.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I understand that English is like the biggest language in the world right now, besides Chinese, because there's more Chinese than there are.
Yeah.
But still, it's just funny that whenever it goes to Europe, it's in English.
So yeah, that is Nintendo Direct September 2017. All right. There is one other bit of news that we skipped earlier. Brandon, I'm gonna let you roll with this one. It's the Bethesda related thing. While we're talking about Sky.
Oh, someone made a mod. You know, Bethesda released this thing called the Creators Creation Club or whatever it is, like that. It's basically they've tried once before to basically charge people for mods, and the first time it caused a lot of backlash and didn't work out. So they created this Creators Creation Club to charge for mods. And now when you go into Fallout 4, you can't log in without them bugging you to go check out the club.
Which nobody should ever want to do because fuck that thing. You know, the thing is, if they were actually putting out like significant content on it, it wouldn't bother me. But it's like, pay 99 cents for this gun skin.
I mean, they call it mini DLC. I was like, that's not mini DLC.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It's mods.
It's mods.
It's things we've been getting for free from people making it for ages.
You still can. You still can.
Oh, I know. So what's the fucking point?
To try and swindle people out of that extra little bit of cash. I mean, it's basically like every studio. We don't want some money. We want all the money.
You know, like this level of lack of customer goodwill is. It sucks. I mean, I understand to a certain degree why they're doing it, but at the other hand, it's like, if you keep fucking your customers like this, they're not going to be around to keep supporting your games after launch like this, because they won't buy your games anymore. This dude needs to die right here.
Wow, that is not the greatest aiming in the world there.
Of course it's not. So anyway, I think that is actually it for this week's Z Trigger podcast. Anything else we want to add, guys?
I don't think so.
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you all once again for listening, and as always, come back next week for whenever we have our next installment. I hope that you've enjoyed the show this evening and that you will come and join us on Facebook and Twitter at ZTriggerLive and on the YouTube as Z-Trigger, where we do our live streams and soon some actual video content all of its own. I just need to get to work on that video, guys. I'm sorry. Work's the thing. And until then, good night and see you later.
Did.
Is seeing you.
So, gentlemen, am I of the understanding that we are not doing book reviews this week?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I could talk about my book. I mean, I have enough opinion on my book that I could if you want, but it's up to you. You're the only one who actually has a legit review.
the thing is, like, I could review The Wise Man's Fear. I don't really want to, though, yet. I mean, I kind of want to, but I don't want to, if that makes sense.
If you give me till next week, I can actually review the book that I'm reading, because I'm like 100 pages till the end. I'll probably finish it this weekend, so.
All right, yeah, we can hold until next week on the book reviews. That way, maybe I can read something that's not Rothfuss.
Yeah.
Because like I'll comment on it next week, but like my feelings on that book are complex, and Brandon and I talked about them a couple days ago. I think we were live streaming then, and we were just talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of want to read my buddy Nick's book and do a review of it.
Okay. Also, we should buy the next Star Wars book pretty soon.
It's been if I had not just spent $45 on this game, I was gonna do it soon, but
I don't have it yet, so
it's gonna happen soon. I intend to. It's just
I can get it at any point in time.
because Brandon's not buying a print copy.
Damn right I'm not.
Brandon's like, I've seen how many Star Wars books you have. I want nothing like that.
I'm collecting. So
Well, no, I
have
can't bring myself to buy
that many books when you know that some of them are not going to be any good. And it's
Some?
going to be a large portion.
Yeah, that there's going to be a significant section that's either poor or just okay. And I have a hard time stomaching the cost. For that.
If you were going for the rest, you would probably end up with like 10 books. If you're looking for one's
like,
better than okay.
I'm going to keep the Carillion trilogy that I have, and the
you know
the
that's
Thrawn
considered
trilogy.
one of the worst, right?
What, I like the Carillion trilogy.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, you can like it, but it is considered one of the worst ones.
I don't understand why that's considered one of the worst, because I've always liked it. I've always thought it was pretty good.
I don't know why it's bad.
Like, I'm sorry, but like I feel like in some cases, like Star Wars fans have really dumb opinions. Because that one's entertaining. I thoroughly enjoy that book. Every time I've read it, and I've read the first book at least 7 times.
Yeah, and some people actually like Splinter of the Mind's Eye or whatever it's called, and I thought it was pretty bad.
You know, I've literally never read that book. I've read the comic book version, and it's certainly a thing. That comic book version of Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
The big problem, no Han Solo.
Yes, the other big problem.
Alan Dean Foster.
Completely not congruous with the rest of the Star Wars storyline. In that Luke and Leia
have a thing.
Yeah, they get romantic.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the book that was supposed to be like, if
That's
the
if
first one didn't do
it
pop,
was a
didn't do
flop.
Yeah. The entire point of Brandon. The entire point of Splinter of the Mind's Eye was to be the sequel to Star Wars if it didn't make any money.
Can we just say thank goodness it did?
Yep.
Hey, maybe by next week I'll have played something. I meant to finish my Dragon Quest IV run this week, but when you're getting home at like 8 o'clock, having gone to work at, started work at 9, you're just like, I want to go to sleep.
Dude, I hear you there. That's my Wednesday every week, so I get it.
But I'm looking forward to my next paycheck.
Shit, I bet. 2 weeks of overtime? Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Alright. Well, I'm going to turn off the live stream now. Thank you to anybody who watched the live stream. And we'll see you next week. I actually finished the first 3 levels of Perfect Dark. I hadn't done that in a long time.